I'm not sure what to expect from both of these teams. But again, as we talk about personal pride and national pride, you're representing your country at the World Esports Championships. You're going to want to perform for your nation. And, you know, again, we talk about skill level and things of that nature. We could see anything here. We could literally see anything. Because obviously the only results that we are getting through on the casting side of things is from what we see on the stream. I'm not too sure of how Djibouti have been getting on, or the United Arab Emirates, or how important this game could be to them.
No, and we are only on the first stage. So, passing the days, we will be seeing also the mood of the players, which is very important.
Yeah, massively important. Mentality, mood, emotion.
Fatigue.
Again, fatigue is massive. Again, you know, for example, if we're looking at latter stages, if not the final stage, I know you alluded to earlier, we're not going to spoil it for the good people at home, but there may be just a little bit more that you've got to think about in terms of conditions and things of that nature, and how much that's going to play a part. But as we can see here, it's a front three, I believe that was, of Ferran Torres, Memphis Depay, and Robert Lewandowski. Again, we'll have to see who is picking what team here. We'll look at just both the game plans. Both very narrow. Both very narrow. Narrow was the word. I love the fact that we both went to that same word, because that's exactly what I thought. Yes. Very narrow, very down the middle, and almost mirroring each other.
And arrow-shaped.
Yes, yeah, the old bow and arrow, as it used to be called. But
so it's Manchester and Barcelona. Djibouti goes with Man United. Arab Emirates go with Barcelona.
Yeah, it's interesting, some of the team selection here. Anthony, who we've not seen a lot of from Manchester United, or players or representatives that have used Manchester United, not seen a lot of Anthony today, not seen a lot of Donny van der Beek, who's on the field as well. So interesting to see that those have been deployed. Of course, with Barcelona, we've got a little bit more to learn. We've only got the Korean gameplay to go off of, and again, if that's the case, then we're in for 12 goals.
And the Djibouti player has sunglasses on?
Yep.
Whoa, like a poker player.
Do you know? And sometimes, you know, you find people go, well, why have you got glasses on inside? It's exactly that. You don't want to give your game away to anyone. As Lewandowski finds his way in. Good save from David De Gea. And it's cleared away by Rafael Varane.
Are you old enough to have kicked penalties covering the joystick?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
With a cloth?
Yep, my brothers were well versed in the turning your back method rather than covering anything. Here is Lewandowski into Ferran Torres, looking across the way. Wan-Bissaka gets the clearance, though. And it is out for a Barcelona throw.
A big high five for all the players that made this game so huge around the years. You are the ones that keep the flame going.
Go again. Oh, speaking of flame going again, it's one-touch passing there from UAE.
Very nice. Very nice.
Just not quite finding the finish at the end. But again, we talk about skill levels. We talk about what we're expecting. We didn't know what to expect. We're certainly getting it in the early going. That both these teams know their way around a game of football. So this should be very entertaining. There's Lewandowski into Depay. Back to Busquets. Back to Lewandowski. Ferran Torres. Busquets. It's blocked away by Casemiro. Pedri recovers it though. Busquets, Depay, back to Torres! Ferran Torres with his first appearance today. And within 15 minutes of his first appearance, it's his first goal.
And I think we're starting to see the levels. The UAE is the owner of the match. Djibouti almost didn't cross the midfield in the minutes that we have. It was all proposed by Barcelona/UAE, and of course when you keep shooting a target, it ends this way.
Yeah, absolutely. The more you knock on the door, the more likely somebody is going to answer. And again, we talked about this earlier. We talked about cold hands and hot hands.
Yes.
These later games, as we've noticed, as the games have gone on, as you mentioned about the pattern, we've seen more and more goals. That's later in the day. Your hands are now warm. Your hands are now involved in the game. Now, all of a sudden, you can probably put your game to good use.
Yes.
And as a result,
this started with a bad clearance.
Yep. It all has an epicenter. Whenever you see a goal being conceded, there is always one moment in a game of e-football where you sit there and you go, that's where it started.
Exactly.
And again, like you said, one bad clearance, it can lead to absolute danger. Here's Depay.
And now it's total dominance from UAE.
Here it is. De Jong! It's 2-0. The Dutchmen combine.
Speaking of total dominance.
It's total dominance and total football. They're all one and the same.
A monologue starting, you know. We were pushing for the underdog, but this will be really steep.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Got to get themselves back into the game. After Djibouti, if they want to stand a chance in getting something out of this game, I think the next goal has to be theirs.
Yes.
Next goal has to be theirs.
I think that next goal is the one that will mark the north of this game.
Yeah, I think looking at it, it will be a deciding factor here. But it seems to be all UAE as Depay goes in. Stunning strike! What a goal!
Mamadera.
Memphis Depay, take a bow. What a strike that is.
I think this game may break the 10 goals record.
You said it once before and it happened.
I
know that there's no commentators curse. What a finish that is, by the way. We talked about the stunning strikes and we talked about what's so special about them. It puts extra power onto your shots at the cost of accuracy. But of course, if you're Memphis Depay and if you are, you know, the UAE and you're that well versed in how to strike them, you can find corners of the goal. And
there is also very early in the match, so the player is full.
Yes, exactly as well. Stamina will play a part. Whether you've got a player covering or a player pressuring you will play a part here. Djibouti have got to get themselves back into this.
Also, do you know what I'm looking on the UAE player? He's doing the stuff that he needs. He's not clowning around, as you said before.
As you say, shot going in, just couldn't quite get the feet on it, couldn't quite get the right strike on it. But as you said, yeah, it's doing just the absolute needful. They're doing the stuff that they absolutely need to do to be ahead in this game. And as such, we're seeing a brilliant, brilliant start for the United Arab Emirates. Here's Frankie de Jong, Ferran Torres, Memphis Depay. Lindelof to clear it away. Busquets still. Ferran Torres, just really quick gameplay. You can tell the United Arab Emirates have got those hot hands at the moment. And again, as we said before, they will keep going and they will keep pressing so long as they absolutely need to. There's Casemiro, interception though. It's only 30 in-game minutes on the clock. There's still enough time to get a goal or two back. But Djibouti have really got to get their skates on here and really start to put the pressure on. Here's Sancho to Donny van der Beek. It's dispossessed by Memphis Depay. It's quick, one-touch pass it as it goes. It's Frenkie de Jong who's just offside for Ferran Torres, but it's all UAE. It is all one-way traffic right now.
Exactly. It's a wonderful way to look at this game. One-way traffic. That's it. It's like if the pitch has a level that comes down. You know, it's like when you lift a table.
The table has been tilted.
Exactly.
That's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, there's still going to be opportunities here for Djibouti to put their game plan into play. It's just a case of whether they can beat the press. So as you can see, Lewandowski rolls it in. Ferran Torres looked for the cutback. He's a little bit too greedy. He could have potentially just slotted that past the goalkeeper instead. Went for the pass. I don't blame him personally. Here's Memphis Depay. Pedri. Lindelof will clear that away to Wan-Bissaka.
So here we are in wonderful Bali. Nendi's on the camera. Everybody's here.
Here's Torres once more. Lewandowski!
And for it goes.
Liquid football. Liquid football. It's so slick that this gameplay is happening here. And again, it's just quick. Every time that ball is retained or is regained, the ball movement, and again, it's not necessarily the awareness of knowing what you want to do. It's having the awareness of the players moving around you. One trick that I like to do at home, which is I look at the center of the screen at all times, because for some reason, and don't ask me why, out the corners of my eyes, I will see stuff better than if I'm trying to directly look at things. So if you're staring, if you have like a monitor at home and you're looking at just a glimpse of the radar, you'll be able to see players moving and you'll be able to see them quite quickly. You know, if you can try this at home, you'll probably be tapping the screen at the same points that I will once I'm watching this game.
That's an excellent lesson.
Yeah, it's all just in your periphery. You'll be able to see things happen. As you can see down at the bottom there, as Sancho gets in, but it's Ronaldo that's there. But you'll see the movements of players before you even realise.
Someone missed a goal.
Yeah, that was an incredibly loud bang behind us. I think that's that aggression and emotion, and it comes out in its own ways, unfortunately.
You know, we are at stage where
it's the ball in towards Ronaldo. PK going to challenge.
A match can mark your destiny in this tournament.
It really
so
can.
If you start with, like we've seen before, a 10-0, it's very difficult from that on. If you come here with expectations, is one thing. If you come here just for the experience, it's another one. But everybody wants to win. The difference, I think, is your mindset. Yeah. What is your expectation? You know, as a player, where are you standing? But sometimes there is like a disassociation between what you think and the reality. And that's when sometimes the anger comes.
Yeah, because you will look at it and maybe think, well, I could do this at home, or I've been able to do this before. Why can't I do it now?
And also, as you said before, we usually play against a circle of people. And in these tournaments, you get to play with people you never played before, with tactics that none of your friends use. So that's very important. And that's why we love these kind of matches, because you may be surprised. This game is all about UAE. It's 4-0, but you never know. Perhaps in the next match, Djibouti can wake up.
It's in here again. It's Memphis Depay once more. Oh, it's off the post. It's going to go into the back of the net. Shaw could not get his foot around it, and instead follows it in. It is an own goal by Luke Shaw.
I told you I saw a goal from Djibouti coming. I never said in which goal.
In what lane? No. And look, in terms of it, again, it comes from the right type of pressure. It comes from spotting those runs early. The best way to play e-football is when you see players and you see animations such as this. You'll see Lewandowski. If you see players with their hands up, that normally means play them the ball because they know they're going to be in. If you leave the ball too long, of course, they'll be offside. Instead, if you play it at the right time, that's the type of thing that happens. And again, it's great football.
I'm always the guy that presses all the time the hands up when I play the team play. But my friends never give it to me. I don't know why.
But those are the neat little tricks to really look out for. If you can see your players telling you that they are open, play the pass. Play the pass and make the opportunity.
Of course.
But at the moment, it is all UAE. And as you'll see here again, you'll see them moving in droves here. So it's Depay, then it's Torres. It's then got Lewandowski. You've then got three runners at the top, which was Pedri overlapping from midfield. They're always going to have men over if that is the case. And that's why we're seeing so much good play from the UAE, having players over and making sure you get the ball to them.
If we go purely mathematical, we have chances, big chances, of breaking the record of this tournament in this game. Because this game is already 5-0, and we still have almost a full half and another full game.
Yeah, I think so. I think looking at how it's performed at the moment, they're not letting their foot off the pedal. They're not letting their foot go, and it's Lewandowski again. But the UAE have not stood on ceremony. They've gone, right, we need to get a goal, and we need to get multiple, and we need to carry on the momentum. We don't let up after 2 goals. We make sure that we put it away. And you see Torres to Depay to Torres back to Lewandowski, who's benefited from a defensive error, and it's almost like a metronome. Watching some of this passing from the UAE, it's just like the ticking of a clock. You're just seeing it go back and forth and back and forth. You can't stop it.
I remember when you play the first time, the new game, and you play against the computer, against the artificial intelligence, and they seem like, what are they guys doing? They never miss a pass. So this looks like if you're playing against Com1.
Yeah, it feels as though when real world managers talk about, oh well, it's PlayStation football, this is what they're talking about.
Exactly.
This is the type of gameplay. Granted, it's an error. It's an error from the defender, and it's you know, it's a heavy touch that's taken it away. But let's not take away from the passing move that led to that.
And if we see this drawing, if we draw some lines, this would be like a Scottish shirt, you know, with full crosses.
Yep, absolutely. Because that's all it is. It's just back and forth. It's triangles. It's square football. It's all there. But it's all Barcelona. And you know, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if you can just see it here, you can just see the player movement. The player movement is so much different than when you see Djibouti attack. But I'm not sure, as we said before, I'm not sure how much it is that Djibouti are not being allowed to play their game, or just how good it is the UAE are. But certainly at the moment, it's one.
I don't remember Djibouti showed it at a target.
That was a great move. That was such a good move. But yeah, I'm just looking at it now. You can just see it. It's ping, ping, ping. It's like seeing a pinball on a pinball machine. It just keeps moving, but it's all with intent. It's not wasted movement, as you said.
With all due respect, it's like when you play with your cousin who doesn't plays video games, and he's like, okay, let's play one. Okay, let's do it.
Where's Ronaldo? Hopefully can Djibouti try and get something moving. They can't. Instead, Memphis Depay has already got Ferran Torres running. Keep your eyes on the bottom of the screen. Robert Lewandowski's there. Good challenge from Rafael Varane.
Whoa. That was not a foul.
That was not a foul, no. Got the ball, then got all of the man, which was quite lucky he got the ball in the first place. Here's Donny van der Beek to Anthony Martial. Again, blocked off by Jules Koundé. There's Pedri. Depay. You see Lewandowski. You can see he's looking back to trigger that run. So if you're putting it back to your attacking midfielder and you've already set one player off on a run, it sets another player off. And you can see Torres, he's not contained once more. It's Lewandowski, and
good
Lindelof
defending.
has just about got away with that one.
Solid defending there for Djibouti.
Yeah, it had to be. Can we get one on the board for Djibouti? We can't at this juncture. Instead, Sergi Busquets will bring it down the way. Here's Torres. Pedri. Pedri puts the stop on. Puts it down to Depay. It's a sliding from Torres, and it is a foul.
It's a logical loss of focus from UAE. When you have this difference, of course, you have to relax. I mean, it's natural.
It is. It absolutely is. But you can see from, as we talked about physicality, we talked about, we talked about Manchester United, we talked about Bayern Munich, talking about Barcelona, we talked about Kesse, but their backline in terms of in stat balanced or uniform settings mode or uniform stats mode, they have an incredible backline, but it's, you've got Christensen, you've got Araujo, you've got Koundé, you've got so many good physical defenders, but also on the flip side of it with Koundé, you have speed to go with that. So you have the kind of the best of both worlds. Meanwhile, they're free scoring, free flowing, and it's hit the post. I thought that was going to be offside for a moment. It's gone for a corner. But looking at this as well, though, you look at the attack-minded nature of it. You've got Pedri, you've got De Jong, you've got Lewandowski, Depay, Ferran Torres. You've got players who are mobile and are able to make those opportunities happen. It's Lewandowski back to Sergio Busquets. It's a foul given away. You see there, just a replay, just Wan-Bissaka just wrapping his legs around Sergio Busquets. It's Memphis Depay.
6-0 for UAE, who's playing with Barcelona. If you just tune in, we are at the group stage. We still have 2 more matches today. We're playing at the best of 2 matches. At my left, Mr. Gueza, an eFootball legend.
Some people may say legend, others may disagree with you.
No. You know this game as few people know this game.
Well, there's certainly a couple of other characters that could happily be sat in this seat, but I'm very happy to be in this seat. As we see, it's Memphis Depay. Finish it off. Oh, it's been dispossessed, but not been given as a foul, so it's just a coming together. If you were racing, it's a racing incident, and that's about as much as it is. Well, to see poor ball given away, Torres. Oh, it's wide.
So this kind of shot is the one you make when you're losing, not the one you make when you're winning.
Well, actually, you say that, but I think it was the third goal from Barcelona was that stunning strike.
But I mean, it was like in a rush.
Yeah. So it's almost like you've pre-programmed it. As you can see, 6-0.
6-0. Whoa, that's amazing. But look at the chill of these players. They know they have what it makes to be here. They are the best in the world. But of course, as in all the competitions, you have different levels, you have different days. Perhaps you're a great player, but you don't have a good day on the first match. You can keep it up on the second one. It's difficult. It's 6 goals. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to make up. And as we saw, I think it was earlier on today, we saw 6 goals. I believe it was from Korea in the first game. It's so hard to overhaul that as a lead that it's very hard for you to go into the next game and be like, oh, actually, I can make a difference here, because there's been such a, as you said, there's been such a marker put down by the fact that you've been beaten 6-0 that mentally you will go, I can't handle this. And the way that UAE are playing, I hasten to say, it's quite a European way of playing, in the sense of it's quick passes, it's quick touches, it's triggering runs, it's having, as we said, you go back to your central midfielder, but you've triggered a couple of other runs already, which means you've got a full wave of players going forward. It's a very European style of playing, and if they get through to elimination rounds, interesting to see how they come up against people.
I will say something. When you're saying an European type of playing, you are talking about efficiency. And you know, I was thinking this is a 6-0, but we didn't see a show. I mean, we see like a good machine. I was remembering like German teams.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
efficiency. Not German teams this year.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah, but it does. Yeah, it's doing, as you said on commentary, it's doing what you need to do, not what you want to do.
Exactly. But on the other hand, Korea gave a show.
Yes, yeah.
And you know, and Iran gave a show, and Argentina gave a show. So it's different type of playing, and this is also important when you start a tournament to see how each of them play and how will they play against each other.
Yeah, well, it's what we said before when we were talking about some of the games that we had. Iceland versus Iran, for example, we were talking about how it's a culture clash. There's very different cultures here. There's very different ways of conduct, as it were. You will see some people, as we said, we saw Ray Molina punching the air and punching his chest. Some people very stoic, as we saw Korea. You would have to ask him what the result was to see what the result was. And it's the same with the UAE, is that, yeah, okay, they've just won 6-0, but you wouldn't know it because there was no noise, there was no fanfare, as it were. It was, I've won 6-0, that's what I needed to do. I'm going to go and win the second game, at least attempt to, and I'll be on my way.
And we start to see candidates. We are almost reaching the end of the first day of the tournament, and by now you start to see the level of the players, and you start to see different strategies. Who picks this team does this, who picks these teams does this, but there are always exceptions. For now, most of the players are picking Manchester United, and in those cases we are not seeing like very different plays. The ones that pick Barcelona are the ones that made the most goals. That's another thing interesting.
It's the fluidity that they have. So it's the ability to take that team and understand the DNA of it. I know I mentioned that earlier on. It's the DNA of a team. So, for example, when you think of Manchester United, you think of teams that have gone by in real world. It's wing play. It's getting counter-attacks on. And that's what they have. They do have that. They have a focal point in Ronaldo. They've got Martial, they've got Rashford, they've got Antony, and they've got Sancho. They've got able-bodied wingers to get forward. They have Bruno in midfield. They have Casemiro to hold down the fort. So they have players that they can use. Bayern Munich, for example, we've spoken about their depth chart already. Barcelona, we've spoken about it in the previous broadcast. I personally love it when my esports athletes, who I watch, are the guys who then go, I see the DNA of a team and I fit my gameplay to their strengths. Because I'm not a fan of the cookie cutter formations of, well, we just play 4-3-3 and it's just the way we play. I much prefer it when players take their own ID and go, okay, well, actually, I'm going to import it onto that team, but I'm going to take their ID and import it onto me. And there's then that kind of that synergy almost between the two. I love watching Barcelona, especially at this point in time with these two, with both Korea and UAE. They've been fantastic. And as you said, scored the most goals.
This is the analysis of WESA. Of course, you know, if you know this game, you know why it's so important to hear the people that knows. So we're going to the second match. This tournament we play to the best of two. Thank you very much for all the people in the chat. People from Brazil, people from Italy, people from the UK, people from Senegal. Thank you very much for being there. We really enjoy and we are really thankful for all the comments. And we are coming to the second match from Djibouti against UAE. Coming up next, Kuwait against Czech Republic and Spain against Thailand. Have an eye for these matches because we know the players and they are really good.
Yeah, I think looking at it again, as we said, I'm more interested as to how the fatigue is saying because we, you know, in between the breaks where we've stepped outside, we can feel the heat and we can feel how hot it is. Whether they can combat that and whether they can combat how tired they are. But we're back to Djibouti to UAE.
And here we come again for a new match between Djibouti and the UAE. It's 6 goals difference right now.
Yeah, you can see the first time passing on the UAE's attack, even from that first attack, you can see the intent. The intent is to do damage at all times. I think Djibouti are just, as you see the right smile from the Djibouti representative, didn't quite pull off the way that he thought. So it's Martinez, good save. Anthony Martial! Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the party, Djibouti. Fantastic. Great work.
Have a seat. Have a drink. And we are here for miracles to happen.
No, they couldn't, could they? They couldn't.
You never know.
They couldn't. Well, if UAE can score 6, I'm just saying. But as we talked about it, there was a wry smile from Djibouti just before this happened. There's something had happened that they didn't quite anticipate. Said it's Lissandro Martinez with the header on goal. I'm pretty sure his GPS is off because he's not meant to be in that penalty box. But it's a wonderful ball in. It forces the save from the goalkeeper. A pretty poor goalkeeping, I must say. And Anthony Martial, again, you talk about putting it in precise places. He could have easily put it in the opposite corner. Instead, goes back the other way, so the keeper is already falling, and it's 1-0. So, do we have a game on here? I think we might just have the makings of one.
So, Djibouti has some energy left. Yes, of course.
They certainly do, but it's Ferran Torres is in again, and he's rolled it across. It's Lewandowski. No sooner do we think that there could be a comeback. UAE are like, hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Put the comeback party on hold and let's just chill out here.
Yeah, I think you had the honor goal. Okay, now let's start playing again.
Yeah, again, you have to have the awareness when you have these types of opportunities because it's, as you've said, it's so easy. It's so easy to just sit there and go, oh, and I didn't see that pass was on. Or, you know, like how you said when it's like online team play, for example, you like waving at people. Yeah. It's so easy to miss that pass is on. But it's the ability to find the pass. And that's what has always struck me about teams and about players. It's always having the awareness of knowing where the rest of your team are. And again, slide across again. It's Lewandowski. It's nearly an open goal. He's not going to miss.
The hope lasted just 2 minutes. It was what it took the UAE to get the equalizer. This match is 1-1, but the overall score is 7 from UAE to 1 in Djibouti.
Here's Wan-Bissaka into Casemiro. Casemiro onto Ronaldo. Ronaldo into McTominay. It's Ronaldo! He's just fired over. What an opportunity that was for Djibouti to get back in front here. Great build-up once more, though, from Djibouti. Is this more of what we should see from Djibouti? Because certainly this is a lot more of a livelier start than we saw in the game 1.
You know, when you are 6 goals behind, is the moment that you really play how you like.
It's freedom.
you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's freedom.
So, okay, I will play as I like. I will not speculate anymore. And, you know, perhaps it may work. You never know.
It may work. We can see here Martinez, though. He's giving the ball away to Ferran Torres. Lewandowski to Depay. Torres into Lewandowski! What a goal! It's ball movement, it's confidence, it's everything you need from the UAE.
And we are already on the number 8.
You see the inquest going on at the Man United defence. I don't think there's much more you can do when you can see such a free-flowing gameplay as you're seeing right now from the UAE and from Barcelona. Again, comes from a very poor giveaway. Yeah, we did say there is always an epicenter for mistakes to happen, and that is one of them. You give the ball away in your own half against the run of play, as you can see here, but brilliant roll in from there from Ferran Torres. And again, the confidence of the first-time strike for Robert Lewandowski launched into the back of the net. And that
amazing football.
They're back in the lead.
From the UAE, we are watching the second match. The overall score climbs up to 8-1. And, you know, I know that we are going for a new record. Yeah. I must tell you.
I was going to say, you keep calling these records, but the problem is they keep happening as Torres ends up getting through on goal. Ferran Torres! It's there again! How many times are we going to have to say the name Ferran Torres?
You have to prepare your throat because you will say it many times.
I need a soundboard of these Barcelona players. It's so good at the moment. Again, we talk about positions and we talk about abilities and we talk about things to do.
People start hugging each other.
It's a stunning strike. It's a stunning strike again. And again, we talk about them, about the confidence to actually hit them. If you're in this type of real estate, you see, again, it's that triangle of football. It's it's the stuff you learn when you're a youngster being trained on how to play football.
And you know what nice it is when you know that you're running toward the goal, that the defender will not reach you. Oh.
And that's it. You look at the players that are on show here. It's Torres, it's Depay, against the likes of Varane. Granted, Varane is no slouch, but he's not quick enough to get to Ferran Torres, and especially if you get in front of them early.
So, once again, we are aiming for a record. We're just one goal away from the record, which is 10 goals that Korea scored against Pakistan. Right now, we are 9-1, UAE versus Djibouti.
It's not over yet. It's not over by a long stretch. Through ball there, looking forward. It's a foul that's been given.
UAE playing with Barcelona. Djibouti with Manchester United.
And that's a free kick given and a booking for Lisandro Martinez. Something you may need to factor in if you are looking potentially as a risk of a sending off, maybe. Not that we do want to see those all too often.
Once again for Barcelona.
Can they try to get involved? He's gone out for a corner.
Corner kick.
See what's delivered here, or what's on the plate here is Pedri. Pedri's rolled through two defenders there. He's got it back to Sergio Busquets. Busquets trying to get the ball into the middle. It's cleared away only as far as Frankie de Jong. Lewandowski, Ferran Torres, Memphis Depay, Lewandowski. It's liquid football. I can't find the adjective for how good this gameplay is. I've literally run out of them today. It's so good. It's so clean. It's clean, it's effective, and it's dominating.
Yes.
It's so easy to kind of get through when you play football to this level and you make it this easy. You'll see the ball come out again. Not really effective. Cleared. And you see there, one touch, one touch, one touch. If you've got that run triggered already, you know that the player's going to be running in on goal. It's a fantastic strike.
And I should add the word smart, because this is the kind of game that we're seeing. Nothing here is in excess.
Yes.
There is nothing that you say, okay, I can spare this. Nothing to spare. Everything is happening for a reason. Every pass, every move, it only happens if it's needed. And we come for another one.
Yeah, I think also looking at, again, it's another bad giveaway defensively. Memphis Depay takes a dummy, brought down.
Penalty.
Is that a penalty? Is it inside the box? I think it might just be.
Penalty.
And it's Lisandro Martinez with the takedown as well. Could we see another booking? I think we have. So
Yes.
that's double jeopardy in my book. That's a sending off. And is it a penalty? It's not.
No.
It's right on the edge.
Not a
I thought
penalty.
as much because, again, you can't award the penalty and get sent off. Such is the new rules. Let's see, free kick from Depay. Oh, he's gone for the smart one. He went for the smart one under the wall. Didn't quite work, but I respect the ability of him trying that one. It's very rare that you see that one, a low free kick.
And we don't have yet the ability to put someone sleeping behind.
Not yet, no. That's reliably informed, as that's called in the UK as a draft excluder. That's what we call it. As the ball goes wide out into Koundé. There's Frankie de Jong. There's Eric Garcia. Again, another one of those physical occupants that we expect from this Barcelona side. But Lewandowski just trying to wriggle through, but it's fallen out to Marcus Rashford. Again, the 10 men of Djibouti have not made any changes from what I understand. So if Barcelona are not careful with this here, there's a defensive hole to exploit here. As you can see, 3 players running on, one of them being Pedri. He's robbed the ball off Rafa Varane's feet. It's Pedri, taken down by the keeper. It's a penalty again.
Now we have a penalty.
Well, I say it's a penalty again. What am I talking about? It's our first penalty. You can see the team remonstrating with the referee. I don't think you can say much more about that. David De Gea absolutely cleaned out Pedri there. It was neat footwork to bait in the charge from the goalkeeper.
You told us before that when you're playing, you're not keeping if it's a record or not. But, you know, this penalty seemed like...
It's Lewandowski at the foot of it, the goal.
And now
it's
we have
5 goals to 1.
Now we have a record. 11 on the main marker, 11-1.
You're going to have to buy your own special trophy, yeah. If you're keeping this score, you have to buy your own special trophy for at the end of the week. But again, wonderful finish. But again, it all comes from gameplay. And we said that gap, it caused the error because Varane has got to cover 2 positions, not 1. And granted, he took a very heavy touch, which Pedri, because he's very quick and diminutive by many standards, was able to just slip in, take the ball away, and again, just baited the goalkeeper into making the challenge.
So we're just in the first half of the second match, and we are already 5-1.
Yeah, this could get ugly real quickly. It's Ferran Torres once more. It's over to Memphis Depay.
It's cheaper by the dozen.
It is cheaper by the dozen indeed. I'm going to have to save my voice because I tell you, I'm going to run out my voice by the end of the middle of the week at this point. Wonderful, wonderful gameplay again. But again, you kind of have to ask questions to Djibouti. Why have you not sorted out the gap in your defence? Because I understand the whole mindset might be, well, the game's already gone, so I don't need to fix it. You don't want it getting to a point where it's ugly, shall we say.
But do you think this, I don't think this happened, but as he get booked on the replay, could he didn't notice that?
Or maybe, yeah, or I mean, that's even the thing. He may not even be aware he's down to 10 men.
You think so?
I mean, even because to me, it doesn't make any logical sense why you would leave, especially a gap in the centre half. Yeah. Why would you leave a gap there?
I mean, just because we didn't see, I mean, we saw that someone was being booked, but the animation was not shown.
So maybe he's not realised that that's what's happened. But as you can see, Ferran Torres onside around the goalkeeper. Oh, and he's pulled it wide. As much as you've got a trophy for goals scored in a game, you can certainly have one for miss of the tournament so far. Rounded the goalkeeper and absolutely no one to aim at.
I mean, even if you didn't see the player booked, you have to count and you see that someone's missing.
Or alarm bells would ring and you'd say, why is he able to get through me so quickly? As we see again, Lewandowski in on goal. Robert Lewandowski goes for the controlled one. It's taken away. It's Pedri! For all of his endeavour, he finally has a goal on the score sheet. It is Pedri, the Spanish maestro, finds the back of the net for all of his endeavour. I mean, it was 7-1, and it's not even half-time.
No, this is a match that can give us all the records.
Yeah, we'll see here.
All the records.
Again, talking about finding places, there was a man on the line. Didn't matter any bit to Pedri. We'll see. He was unlucky, to be fair. He was unlucky not to score with Lewandowski, because you can see he wound up the shot and it just, De Gea just got to his feet. But again, it's just a good bit of skill just to tuck that away. And so, again, at half time, it's going to be very dire reading if you are a Djibouti fan or a Djibouti representative. It's going to be a very, very, very harsh read.
And you know, in this level, there's you never stop. No. I mean, the real players, the real pro players, never say, okay, this is enough, I won't make any more goals. No, you have to make all that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at what's happening right now. There's 5 minutes of added time, and I'd argue and say that a lot of it was down to the red card, and the other couple of minutes was probably down to the amount of celebrations there's been through Barcelona. Fantastic performance, and again, we don't like to commentate and tell you that games are over or that they're done.
Yeah, but that looks very difficult to think that it will come back. You know, there are the players. You can see the Djibouti player with the white shirt and the sunglasses, and the UAB with the burgundy shirt. We are here for the second half. 7-1 for Barcelona, 7-1 for the UAE, in a combined score of 13-1.
Yeah, it could be even worse here. It's Memphis Depay in on goal. Tries to get around the keeper. It's another penalty kick.
This is my style of defending.
You're just clean them out, regardless of what it is, regardless of how it is. And of course, it's another penalty given away by David De Gea, but it's another penalty, which, again, you can see why it's been given, and you can see how the UAE are making them be given.
And expect the red cards. Coming up next, the red cards.
Yeah, coming up next, there potentially could be a red card. It's Robert Lewandowski. Finds the back of the net. It is 8-1. And you have heard that right, UAE fans. You have heard that right. It is 8-1 in game 2.
Yeah, and I think we may cross the 2 digits in just
one game. Yeah, I feel like it's heading that way. I feel. I mean, you run out of things to say here. We were very much similar kind of feeling to when we were watching Korea versus Pakistan in terms of when you saw so many goals. Yeah, I feel like this is worse, but I feel like this is worse more so. It's almost like a self-inflicted wound because, okay, if you aren't aware that there's a red card, I'm pretty sure that they would probably hear either me or you at this point in juncture. They would be able to hear us, right? There's that, and then there's allowing that to still be a problem because you can clearly see that there is a hole in that defence because Torres is in again.
15.
And at this point, you've got to know. Because every time you look at the scoreboard, there's a red mark above your name. You've got to know that there is a red card that's been given. But again, it's exploiting the gap. That's all it is. And the majority of the goals since the sending off for Barcelona, it hasn't needed to be intricate. It hasn't needed to be 2 or 3 touch passes. It's just finding the hole and just going.
It's not a mystery anymore.
No, it can't be a mystery. I'd be interested to find out. It's a shame we don't have kind of a post-match interview so we can kind of detect whether whether you have realised that there was a gap. But because you'd even notice it here at kickoff. You can even look and see at the radar at the moment as to what the reasoning is and how Barcelona are getting free. If you look on that right-hand side, what's happening here, or what's happening is Casemiro is now getting dragged in to be the auxiliary defender, but it's leaving all the gaps for Barcelona. As you can see, a foul going in there.
I told you.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I'm pretty sure it's coming. There's a booking.
I told you the cards are coming. Because this is what when you're losing so much, it's like the impotence. You start giving, fouls. It's
absolutely.
It's unavoidable.
And I think it's only going to get worse because, as we said, if Casemiro is getting dragged into the back line, he's using more stamina. But then it leaves the attacking midfielder completely wide open. And there it is.
10-1.
10 in one game.
10-1. Yes, sir. amazing demonstration from the UAE. If I was one of the players in this tournament, I will surely don't want to cross with this player. I will try to avoid him as much as I can.
Well, this again, this is what we've been asking for the last couple of ties and games that we've seen. Can you do this in a best of 3? Can you do this against other opponents? Okay, Djibouti, you've absolutely put to the sword. There's no question about it. You've got a double-digit scoreline in one game, and there was a 6-0 victory in the first one. You've absolutely done everything you can. You don't need to do much more. The issue now becomes is, again, like you said about expectation, is now the UAE camp now going, well, we've just beaten Djibouti 10-1 or however the score pans out. Are they going to rock up to, say, the likes of Spain, Italy, France, Portugal, all of these types of guys and say, well, actually, we'll play against some of the more well-known, the Netherlands, for example. We'll play up against the more well-known ones, and we'll play the exact same way. And will they expect a result? It's almost a PR exercise in itself. You have to measure your own expectations, but then measure the expectation of those around you. As we see a free kick given for a tackle on Aaron from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You see Memphis Depay is the player that looks to be set up here. He's gone for the low one again.
If you're just tuning in, we are here for a demonstration. This is like an exhibition match. UAE on the overall score is 16-1.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable performance, but again, it's if you look at the passing patterns and you look at how the players are just finding space at will. If you sat there and watched it back, if we took this back and we took this out of the broadcast and we went and watched it back, you could see all of these chances coming because you can see how the player movement is. And there it is. It's a red card for Cristiano Ronaldo, of all people. Rash challenge in the middle of the park.
We told you cards were coming, and unfortunately for Djibouti, we didn't miss.
Down to 9 men now, but let's not take that away from the result. Let's not take that away. I don't want it to be a case where people would look at this and go, well, you know, United Arab Emirates, they only beat 9 men. They've been in the ascendancy. As you see again, big save on that time. It's Pedri this time to recover the ball. Pedri out to Frankie de Jong, Depay, de Jong, Lewandowski, Depay. And that passage of play is exactly why I don't want it taken away from the UAE.
Exactly.
Because, again, that type of play and that style of play, again, is incredibly European in its approach. It's almost, I would say, borderline South American in terms of the aggression.
Yeah, but it's more like utilitarian, you know?
Yes.
Nothing is a decoration.
Yeah.
Everything serves a purpose.
Yeah. There's no accidental passes here.
No, in fact, if I was winning with these numbers, I will start doing fantasy.
Yep.
But he's doing none.
Nope.
He's just doing what he needs to do.
And as we said, and as you pointed out, which I didn't really kind of take into account here, goal difference may play its part. And again, the amount of goals you've got, we're at 17 goals now for the UAE. I'm not too sure I can't remember off the 16 groups that there are in terms of who's in their group, but I'd imagine it'd be pretty important to get a hold of this result and get a hold of it quick.
And who saves 11 saves 12.
Oh, not quite. Casemiro just got a foot in. But again, it's a demolition. There's no other words for it. And again, at this point, you kind of look at it and you just go, well, what more can we say about the UAE that hasn't already been said? As Pedri tries to find one into the corner, it's a good save. It's Depay back to de Jong. Just that little intricacy. It's that little very, very quick, sharp passing. And again, it'll be interesting to see whether this is a play style that if they make it through to the elimination stage, is this something they can carry through? That's why I'm looking for all of the heavy hitters that we've seen today in terms of score lines. I now want to go and see it in an environment where it's It's not a best of 2. I want to see a best of 3. I want to see, potentially, if they do get to the final, a best of 5. I want to see all of these things, because ultimately, that's when we'll know the measure of them. And you see Depay scores against 12-1 now. Is there a mercy rule in eFootball?
That's why I was calling.
Yeah, it's a mercy rule.
We need one.
We need a mercy rule, I'm sure we do. Because 12-1. I mean, of course, if you're a United Arab Emirates fan, you aren't going to care what less. You're just going to be going, yep, we scored 12. This is great. This is great. We scored 18 goals in a two-legged affair.
No, and I say, if you're the Djibouti player, how are you going to the next match?
I see, now that in itself, I'm not sure how you would recover from such a heavy defeat. I mean, there's heavy defeats, and there's what we're seeing now. There's like it's like as you said, it's like you've got the boss level, which was hard, and then you've got, like, you know, new game plus. It's like it's all of a sudden it's a completely different level.
Like eFootball Ragnarok.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally that. It's just, well, you know, what more can you? I mean, I don't know how you would have a team talk with the Djibouti representative either. Like if you were like a team or there, but you can see just getting through again and again and again.
There is no,
and maybe it's a case that mentally he probably seen the 6-0 in the first game and went, do you know what? Regardless of what happens, I'm not going to change anything in the second game. I'll get 2 sendings off, or I'll get 3 sendings off, or whatever. You know, however many players get sent off. I don't care how many goals we concede. I'm just gonna, you know, have fun with it. You just see, oh, Petri puts it wide. But
back in the day, when you have this kind of score, you will blame it on the controller. You gave me the bad controller.
You'd blame the controller. You'd blame the wind. You'd blame the console. You would blame the TV. You would blame the monitor. You'd blame everything. You would literally go, it was everybody else's fault but mine. But I don't even really think you can put a fault here, because the United Arab Emirates is what we've just seen. It's 13-1 now. They have been irresistible. So as much as I'd love to sit here and go, do you know what? It's Djibouti have had this happen to them. They've had that. They've just, sometimes you just hold your hands up and say, I've been outplayed. And this is one of those moments.
Yes.
I mean, we've got, what, 19 goals? Is he pushing for 20? It looks like it. We might just get it. It's Lewandowski.
And that's it.
And that, surely is that.
Wow.
Surely.
I can't believe this, man. I really feel sorry for.
Do you know how we joked about there was a highlights package that was coming that was longer than a movie? I think we might just get one. Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable.
Whoa. Look at him. Look at him.
14 goals in one game.
We've seen the player coming out. I really feel pity.
Yeah.
I really feel pity. These things may happen. I mean,
yeah,
it's something that may happen. It's in the deck. That card is in the deck. Nobody wants to pick it. Someone sometimes will beat you this hard.
Yeah, of course. And of course, there's a winner and loser in every game. It's just, unfortunately, it's a heavy-handed defeat. It's not just that what you've just seen there, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a regular defeat. That there is, as we joked about on commentary, it's controller down, it's monitor off, it's don't let me touch the game again. That's what it can do.
What I like about this is that this puts pressure on the other players that had big wins, like Korea, like Iran, like Argentina. So it says to them, okay, don't be so confident.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing. If these, let's just play devil's advocate for just a second. From what we've looked on today, we look way back into the first game in Ghana and Suriname. If Suriname can be stubborn and score 1 goal, be great for them. Because again, if you've got the likes of Iran who are free scoring, if you've got Slovakia who are free scoring, if you've got Argentina who are free scoring, Korea, all of these teams, somebody's going to be somebody's roadblock. At some point, you're going to hit the wall, and you're going to hit somebody that you'll go, I can't get past him the same way that I got past everybody else. And granted, that is an absolute marker. That's not, from what you're seeing on your screen at the moment, there's so many goals that can be gone through here. in terms of strikes, and we waxed lyrical about how good the UAE were all across all of commentary. But I want to see them tested now.
Yes,
that's the curious, almost the curious George in me wants to go, okay, I've seen you do that against Djibouti. Go and do it against the Netherlands. Go and do it against Argentina.
Exactly.
Go and do it against Brazil. But again, take nothing away from the performance, because, again, as much as we pointed out the sendings off, as much as we pointed out the red cards, that wasn't the integral reason as to why the game was lost. The game was lost because the UAE were better. That's
of
it.
course. I mean, and the bookings happened because of the score, and not the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there was, 2 penalty awards. There was all types of goals that we saw. There was tiki-taka. There was one touch. There was, beautiful pieces of play. And there was even chances they even missed as well.
Exactly.
There was the open goal, and there's that one. But, of course...
If I tell you how many balls get on the post, and almost, we were talking about 30.
Yeah, it could have been any amount that the UAE wanted it to be. And that's the scary part for it, realistically, is how